Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our end-of-year Rombauer Hour. My name is Rich Allen. I am the Vice President of Viticulture and Winemaking, and tonight I am joined by some of our usual guests, if that's what we want to call them, plus a couple of people you've probably seen before on the show. So, guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Andrew Holloway, the Associate Winemaker.
I'm Michael Code, Associate Winemaker up in the Sierra Foothills.
Cheryl Rydell, Director of Customer Engagement.
Hi everyone, Luke Clayton, winemaker.
And I'm Bob Kniebel, President.
Occasional intern.
And occasional intern.
We have lots of fun for you tonight for the whole hour, so I'm glad you're here to join us. We're going to taste some amazing wines that we're only going to make available tonight. If you want to get them for Christmas, you can do 2-day shipping. We've got 2-day air shipping for $21 on 6 or more bottles. So I guess we should get stuck into the wines, I guess, almost.
That's right, Richie. We've got a great lineup of wines to taste tonight as we share some fun memories of 2021 and the many Rombauer hours we've produced. But to get us started, let's get something special in our glasses. Michael, will you do the honors?
Oh, yeah, make that go.
That's the way to kick off the evening.
It's a boy.
Nothing
Let's
like
go.
it.
What are you pouring? What are we pouring, Michael?
So we're pouring the Gratitude, which is our Blanc de Blanc. It was made out in our Pacific Vineyard. And maybe Andrew can dive into it a bit more while I get focused on pouring wines and making sure people get enough.
It's a wine no one's actually ever seen before. This is a sparkling wine that we made in secret, actually, for our 40th anniversary, which was coming up. Well, it was in 2020. About 3 years prior to that, the winemaking team, we decided that we should have something to help celebrate 40 years at the winery. So in secret, we decided to make this wine with the help of Bob. And at the start, there was only about 7 of us that knew about it. And yeah, the whole idea was to make something, one, to show our gratitude to all the people that have made Rombauer what it is, but also to our customers. So it's a very special wine. There's only 5 cases of it left, and there's a 2-bottle limit if you'd like to buy some.
Yeah, so I might be getting on ordering some for myself. But you know, really, it's special for the gratitude that we're showing, but also for us, sparkling wine has such a near and dear place in our hearts. I mean, we love making it, we love drinking it. We made it once, so it's kind of a fun little project. But really, it's made in that true traditional method. So it's sourced from a really special site down in Carneros for us. It's late 80s planting, so it's a really unique site that gets full flavor ripeness at really low sugar levels. So it's perfect for making sparkling base. It has high acidity, really intense fruit. So when we bring it in, we do a really gentle press, like a slightly 20-minute less press cycle. It goes through a primary fermentation, about 80% in tank, 20% in neutral oak barrels. And then we send that off to get tirage bottled. And basically that process just means a little bit of yeast and sugar goes into that fully finished wine to have a secondary fermentation. But there's a crown cap on the bottle, so the CO2 produced by fermentation goes back into the wine and creates the sparkling wine that you're used to. So that is the traditional method, and that is what we employ to make what we think is a really special, one of the best expressions, I think, from California for sparkling wine.
And how long did we age this wine before we did disgorging?
Yeah, so this was on lees for 3 years, which is a very long period of time. And when you do that, the yeast cells start to break down and they create really complex aromas and textures. And that's where you get a really, when you think of like a carbonated beverage and like a soda or something that has really large bubbles, as it sits on that yeast longer and longer, it gets really like a fine, delicate mousse. And it's really about that texture, that depth of flavor, and really concentration that we're looking for on the palate. So it's fresh, vibrant, and also has incredible flavor.
Can I have some more?
And this wine comes from a very special vineyard, as Andrew mentioned. Some of you may recognize the name. It's from our Buckley Station vineyard. We also produce a single vineyard Chardonnay from that vineyard as well. So really special site, produces some fantastic wines for us. And we also get asked about the name of the wine, the name of the sparkling wine. And the reason we named it Gratitude is because we were really reflecting on our 40 years in business, which is why this wine was made to celebrate our 40th milestone in business. And we took a look back and we had very humble beginnings, and we are just so grateful for where we are. And so Gratitude just fits. And it's a really special wine for all of us that have been here for a long time. I know the winemakers are really proud of it. So like Richie said, it is available tonight. It's on a 2-bottle limit, and you should not miss out on that for the holidays. It's really special.
It's really starting to pick up those classic sparkling wine flavor. It's got that bread, that brioche, but it still has that really nice, crisp Chardonnay character to it as well.
Yeah, really like bright lemon, a little bit of white peach. The texture's great. It has that brioche coming out.
Yeah.
Like a fresh baked baguette.
It's a really good sparkling wine.
It's delicious. And if you can get it in time for New Year's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Incredible.
It was very tough to keep this a secret for about 3 years, but there was another really important reason we wanted to keep it secret. The winemaking team was looking for a way to say thank you for 40 years, really to the Rombauer family itself, for having the courage to get involved in this industry, in this business, and sacrifice and persist and work hard to become the success that it has been today. So it was a seemingly a little thing and yet an important thing that we were able to do to say thank you to the Rombauer family and to all of our colleagues who help make these beautiful wines every day.
Well, I said we would have some fun tonight and we'd do some special stuff. So right now we're going to take a look back through the last year, 2021, and what it was, and all the Rombauer hours we've had. So here's a little highlight reel of what we did.
Yep.
Hello everyone. Me. Welcome to the first Rombauer hour. Who's that gorgeous person?
You can swirl a glass like this.
He's
It looks
very
easy.
talented,
Looks
aren't you,
easy
like
for
that?
me. Well, I do it for a living.
So we're all wearing the same shirt. And Lucas. Hello everyone and welcome to another Rombauer hour.
And next to me, I got
Andrew Holloway, resident trustworthy American.
So check this out. So, since you guys look a bit like sports commentators here, and you're already stabbing your oyster, this is not about force, gentlemen. This is about finesse, okay?
Good evening everyone and welcome to another Rombauer hour.
Also this pizza thing today, so it's a lot of fun.
Glad you got the script right, because I just realized I skipped ahead.
Hello everyone and welcome to Rombauer hour. Erosion into our streams and rivers for fish.
Yeah, so it really kind of has a trickle-down effect. No pun there intended, but
so really he's on that fine line between greatness and horribleness. So
yep. And I ride that line hard.
Spoon of ground garlic.
I can see Oki rolling his eyes at your turkey burger.
Sorry, okay.
You would put bacon on this?
Of course.
Well, funny we should talk about bacon, my little plug here. Tonight our show is all about one of the most important aspects of winemaking, and that is barrels. Hello everyone and welcome to Rombauer Hour.
Age before beauty. The size of these things is about, I don't know, the size of 10 of those.
that's like a golf ball.
Yeah,
Why was
so-
it picked today, Richie?
It wasn't picked today because we're here doing this. So
Because if the yeast aren't happy, the wine's not happy. So
it's a good way of putting it
if,
actually. So 2020 Sauvignon Blanc, I actually think is probably the best vintage we've made so far.
I think so.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Rombauer Hour. We are back again, the three jokers. Well, you can see we're all going to get ourselves in trouble.
hopefully there's no more eye rolls on my account. Sorry, there you go.
All right, so good evening everyone and welcome to Rombauer Hour Red Wine Harvest Edition. As you can see from my beard, we're just finishing up harvest.
Yeah, I have a more cleaned up beard rather than scraggle.
These gentlemen went to the barber for the show. I decided to go natural.
Welcome everybody to the holiday edition and ladies night. Wow, that looked so good. Thank you so much, Betty, for sharing that beautiful recipe with us.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Cheers, mate.
Everyone, see you again soon.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Have a great night, guys.
Cheers, everyone. We'll see you all next time. Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Boogie boogie.
Boogie boogie. Till next time, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Well, it wouldn't be a Rombauer hour unless Richie jumped a few pages and jumped ahead. So let's backwards a bit. And that was a cute video of everyone there. But yeah, so as Richie was saying before the video, we actually have done quite a few of these. We just try to have a bit of fun, mess it up every now and then, drink some more wine and have more fun. But we started this year with our Hog Island oyster, going out there for our Sauv Blanc release, having a great time. I know I did. And then also recently we did our interns, which is our harvest interns. Here they are. Good looking bunch of fellas and a young lady, Cara, holding them all together. But we really couldn't do it without these guys during harvest. They do a lot of hard work, but it's just good to recognize them and say thanks, and you guys to meet them all and become lifelong friends. We're back on track now.
We talked about the interns in St. Helena. We didn't do them out in the Sierra foothills, but what did our intern do for us? Maybe Bob can elaborate. When he was out there.
Oh, I had the opportunity to help out at RSF and enjoyed my time working with the team, but I did make a little mistake, and apparently they recorded that during one of our Rombauer hours.
We tried to sweep it under the rug and not tell the winemakers.
Oh,
Like a
okay.
good president, trying to sweep some stuff under the
So
Keep moving, keep moving.
So let's
Yeah.
take a look at that and let's see how that experience was for you.
Why not?
Yeah.
I've seen you been driving forklift up here, but I know you drove forklift up in the foothills for a bit and barreled down some wine. How'd that go, Bob?
It went okay.
24 cases less of the Zen.
It is a fun story.
Yeah.
It is a fun story,
There was
right?
a little incident with a barrel.
Yeah.
Where a barrel
Yeah.
may not be no more. What happened with that barrel, Bob?
So with work like this, of course, you're trying to move quickly, but safely.
Maybe a little too
and
quickly?
a little too quickly at times. So so even though I've been driving forklift for 50 years, I was a little bit too fast on a downhill slope with 4 barrels, and I am pretty sure that you greased a couple of them. Pretty sure, because
okay.
as
We
I
call
was
it the
slowing,
angel
as I was
share.
slowing down to go in, I slowed just a little too quickly, and I saw 2 barrels launch. It looked like a missile launch. It was something else, and it's like, no! And I see these barrels go out, and as they hit the ground, I saw this glorious fountain of red. It was quite something. It was really.
Well, that was. I don't know if we'll take you back, Bob. We might have to let
Memorable
you go.
times, memorable times. No, I've got to come back to work it off. Come on, yes.
We'll have to review the application.
Review the application, yeah. So, Andrew, what was your favorite one for the year?
So my favorite was Hog Island. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm an oyster fan, so oyster, Sauvignon Blanc. I mean, as long as I have food, I'm going to be happy. So really, being out on the coast, I mean, look at that. That was an awesome day out on the coast. Food, oyster, Sauvignon Blanc, it like pairs perfectly with, I mean, sunshine, being outside, having oysters, the vibrancy of the wine with the salinity of those oysters, it's delicious. And it really, I could do that every day.
And Michael,
I'm a lush.
your favorite one definitely involved food because you took all the food.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's recap on the Hog Island. I didn't get a lot of bubbles, but Andrew and Luke really helped with that, and yeah, that was great.
Kept up the average.
Let's not focus on the Sierra foothills and how much I enjoyed Chef Micah's pizza from Taste Restaurant, because I'm pretty sure I took everybody's piece while they were just letting it get cold.
Yeah,
So
we all turned our
those
heads.
pizzas were amazing, and I thoroughly enjoyed them, as the video clip would
I
highlight.
remember turning my head to get some wine and you inhaled my pizza.
Yeah, well, we're not here to play with spiders.
Yeah, and Cheryl, you've done a couple of them.
Yeah.
What were your favorites?
Well, this year my favorite one was the holiday edition. Charlotte and Reagan have so many fun tips about being a great holiday entertainer. So that was really fun. But the other part of that one is that we set up a segment of that at my home. So that was really fun. We were highlighting our gift packs for the holiday season. You can see them there. If anybody still needs gifts, we can help you out. We have gift packs for the holidays, which are really, really great gifts. But it was really fun to see what really goes into setting up a production like Rombauer Hour. So many things, so much work. And I was like, oh, what's going on in my house? It was a little scary, but it was a lot of fun. So that was really, really fun. So.
It really is amazing how much work is involved, and I've had the opportunity to watch just about every episode side by side with my colleagues, and have just enjoyed it. We've had so much fun watching what's going on, and I hope you've had as much fun at home as you've watched these Rombauer hours. We certainly love the fact that you are tuning in and watching and sharing your comments with us. But let's take a look now back at some more of our favorite moments from Rombauer Hours in 2021?
Got mixed because I messed up the order of the script already.
Richie jumped.
Yeah.
We're going to Richie's favorite.
Yeah, well, my favorite, you know, we started these back at the start of 2020 in March, and it's gone all the way through. And we were really lucky for the dessert wine edition to have our families on there, and our wives made us dessert. And that was one of my favorite shows.
Was that the most nervous you were too?
It was definitely the most nervous. You got more eye rolls than normal. It was quite fun. But because of that, when we got home, my daughter was upset that she wasn't on Rombauer Hour, and so she requested. She goes, "Dad, when am I going to be on Rombauer Hour?" And I said, "Well, if you're going to be on it, what are you going to do?" And she's like, "I'll bake something for Santa." So here's a little segment of my daughter Violet and what she does for Santa Claus every year.
I'm Violet Allen. I'm 8 years old, and today I'm making peanut butter and chocolate chip cookies. I've watched my dad do these Rombauer Hours for a while, so I'm excited I get to do one today. My favorite part about this time of year is that you get to spend time with your friends and family and have lots of silly moments together and make delicious food like I am doing today. What you're going to need is sugar, brown sugar, unsalted butter, eggs, peanut butter, chocolate chips, flour, and baking soda. Before we start, I'm gonna need some help from my loyal assistant. Mom!
Yes, dear. Oh, what's going on in here? Oh, okay. What are you doing, Vi?
Making cookies.
Oh, yum. Great. What do we do?
First, we're going to preheat the oven to 325. The oven.
Oh, sorry.
As you see, I have my mixer, ingredients, and spatula laid out.
All right, the oven is going. What do we do first?
First, we're going to cream the butter. To cream something, you mix it until a fluffy and nice consistency is formed.
And then?
Then, we add the granulated sugar, brown sugar, and peanut butter. After all those four ingredients are combined, we add in the eggs.
Okay.
And mix.
Mix again. Great. And so what are these guys for?
Before you add in the flour and baking soda, you want to turn down the mixer to medium speed. Otherwise, all of the dry ingredients are just going to go poof. And nobody wants a big mess like that.
No, good idea. So then what's the spatula for?
Once you're done mixing all those together, you're going to mix in the chocolate chips, old school style, by hand.
Okay, sounds fantastic. Should we get started?
Definitely. We baked these cookies for 15 to 18 minutes. Now they're perfect and ready for Santa.
Yum. Should we try one first?
Definitely.
Cheers.
Okay, so this is now officially my favorite Rombauer Hour. But I do have some of them here, some cookies for us all to share. For future reference, Santa does actually not like these with milk. He likes them with a good brandy. Remy Martin XO is Santa's favorite choice, but if I show them here, peanut butter chocolate chip
Are they
cookies.
short on some choc chips?
They might be, yes. Violet did stuff her face with more than she should have, but I'm going to take one.
Chef
Yep.
Liberty, right?
Bring them down, boys. Come on.
Yeah, Luke being the favorite for
quick.
chocolate.
Thanks, Violet.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, Violet.
Thank you, Violet.
Great job.
They do go well with joy.
All right, Bob. Well, I will say what's next, but I'll wait till you finish
Finish chewing and swallowing, yes.
Yes.
I'll try not to be rude here, but the cookies are delicious. And I think it's time that we also taste some more wines. Tonight we have a rare and very special wine, our beautiful 2011 Bordeaux blend, Le Melieu de Chez, we call it LMDC. And Luke, would you like to tell us a little bit more about this wine, this vintage?
Yeah, sure. So tonight we've got the 2011 Le Melieu de Chez, or it's LMDC for short, because I struggle to pronounce it.
Not you.
Yeah, I
See,
know.
the best person who can say it is right next to him.
Yeah. So So actually what this is the best of the cellar for that vintage. So how it actually got its name was back, it must have been early 80s. Kerner and our first winemaker, Bob Levy, at the time were sitting in his office and trying to decide of a name. And Kerner, as he was, says, I'm not putting reserve on it. Everyone else does that. So they had a few glasses and thought of another name, and they came up with best of the cellar, but they decided to put it in French, Le Merdechais.
Le Merdechais.
There you go.
LMDC for
LMDC.
You just gotta, you can't think too much about it. You just gotta say it.
So obviously I need another drink and then I'll be fine. But yeah, so if you call up and ask for LMDC, everyone will know what you're talking about. But Andrew, why do I have it in this decanter?
Well, yeah, so so this is actually, 2011. It's been aged at the winery for 10 years. Kind of like a perfect kind of drinking window for this style of wine. But when you see it, it ages, as the wines age, they tend to throw a little bit of sediment, which is just solids that tend to fall out and settle in the bottom of the glass. So what you want to do is decant to get rid of the solids. And so you can see here we have a very clear, perfect Cabernet. And then down here I leave a little bit of wine, and it's probably hard to see, but there are some solids sitting on the side of the bottle. And so the whole goal here is to clarify the wine, and then also to get some oxygen into it. And the oxygen will react with the aromatic molecules and make the wine really expressive. And really, as the wine sits in the decanter, it'll only become more and more open and show more and more of the aromatic intensity that we're looking for. As the wine's aged, we're not really looking for oxygen with the tannins because the wine is really softened over time in bottle. And we're really looking for it to open up and show its true colors. A glass will also do that as well, so you can also just pop it, pour it into your glass, and over time the wine will obviously get oxygen into it as you swirl and really start to open up. You can also, so I just decanted right now, and it's going to probably drink really well. You can open and decant for a few hours prior if you really want it to be super expressive for your guests or just yourself by the fire.
That's a really expressive shot of you right there.
I know. See, the close ones are always the best.
You're very expressive.
Yeah. So what's a little bit of the winemaking behind this?
Yeah, Luke, what vineyards usually end up in this wine and varieties?
Yep. So actually, well, this one, he's jumping the gun all day today.
I am.
This one actually is the best of the cellar. So it changes from vineyards from year to year. So this 2011 actually has some Cab Franc from, I believe it's Saint Helena, some Petit Verdot from Calistoga, and then Mount Vita, Stag's Leap, and some Stice Lane Atlas Peak. So it changes every year. And then we have our current ones soon to be released, like 2017, which is more Cabernet based, and comes from our Stice Lane, Stag's Leap, and probably a little bit of Atlas Peak, Cabernet, but then it has our beautiful Calistoga Petit Verdot in it. The winemaking for this is very similar along all our reserves, Cabernets. I'll do a quick recap, but if you really want to go in depth, we have a red wine edition that you can go back to and watch our happy faces again if you want, and on repeat. And then
Is it the one with the dance moves?
Yes, it could be. But basically, all our wines are hand harvested. They go into the cellar, we de-stem, optical sort, and then they go through the fermentation process. And from there, they're aged from about 14 to 16 months. And this selection is about 10 barrels of the whole lot. And
It's a very small production every year.
It is.
It's very, very small, and it varies from vintage to vintage. As Luke mentioned, the makeup of the varietal in the bottle percentage-wise changes every year. I love this wine. I think it's super unique and special, and I know that the people that have had it are huge fans of it as well. So if you've never tried it before, it's a great opportunity to get your hands on an aged Le Merdechais tonight. It's a decade old, so we've aged it
Drinking
for you.
beautifully as well.
It's drinking really beautifully right now. So again, it's on a 2-bottle limit, much like the Gratitude and the Joy, but you can make a beautiful 6-pack for the holidays and take advantage of that shipping offer that we're doing.
Yeah, we only have a few cases left, as Cheryl mentioned, and for those of you who appreciate extraordinarily beautiful Bordeaux blends, or if you have friends who appreciate wines like this, I encourage you to get your hands on this. It's really, really exceptional.
Yeah. We've been making this since, 1983 was our first vintage of Le Merdechais. So We've been making it fairly consistently. I think there was a few vintages where we weren't able to make it, but pretty consistently since 1983. So.
Well, I think we should try it next to the 17 so we can see
great
how
idea.
the
Great
wine
idea.
ages over time.
Yeah.
So Michael, do you have it there?
Yeah, I do. Maybe we
All
can
right.
hear Luke say the name of this wine again.
But
2017
right now,
LMDC.
with 10 years of age, not only are it's been stored properly, perfect temperature. You can see when we opened it, the cork's perfectly stored. It's really how a 10-year-old Cabernet base blend should taste, and it's super expressive. Has cigar box. Black fruit is really subdued. Now you get a little bit more graphite. The tannins have softened, and it has that length and intensity on the palate.
And how does
just
that
lingers.
differ to the 17 that you now have in your glass, which is the same wine? It's a similar blend of vineyards from the 11 from memory. They both have some Stice and Atlas.
So
but it's very different.
Right off the back, it's way the fruit intensity is way higher as you taste it. It's way more like black cassis, black currant. Yeah, a lot more primary. Those subtle savory flavors are in the background. Whereas
Which
here,
I prefer. I like the fruitiness of a young wine versus an aged wine, and that's what's fun about wine, right? It's all personal preference.
The thing about these wines as well, specifically the LMDC and the two other wines we're going to try, the Stice and Atlas, is while they taste great when they're young, they are big enough with enough tannin structure, enough fruit intensity to sell it very well, as the 11 is a great example of. It's honestly...
It's just hitting its stride.
Yeah, it's got many, many years ahead of it.
It's beautiful.
Even though it's 10 years old.
And you can tell in 10 years, the tannins on this will soften a lot. The fruit will subdue. Those tobacco, those cigar box, that the oak will really subdue and play in, and just kind of everything will be more harmonious as they'll be equal players to the wine. And it's a really incredible, just the fruit intensity and palate intensity right now for me is what's making this wine great.
So that 17's not released yet, is it, Cheryl?
No, we'll talk about that in a minute, but stay tuned. When we work through our way through the 17 vintages of both the Stice Lane and Atlas Peak, I will let everyone know how you can get access to them. They're on allocation now, so the demand has actually outpaced our supply at this point, so we've decided to do an allocation to make it most fair for everyone to get their hands on at least a few bottles. So really exciting for us at this point. The wines are beautiful, some of the best Cabernets coming out of the Napa Valley. They're amazing vineyard sites, and we're excited to offer them to you. So
well, let's try the next two wines then.
Stay tuned, and I'll explain that in just a minute.
While we do that, Richie, why Stice Lane? Why Atlas? Stice Lane is your favorite.
Why these two particular vineyards? Well, it's pretty easy to explain, really. Rombauer, we own Cabernet vineyards that span the length and breadth of the Napa Valley. And we have a lot of unique sites from Calistoga all the way down through Stag's Leap into Carneros. But we have a handful of sites which we consider world-class that consistently produce wines not only very, very high quality, but are very unique. And Stice and Atlas on the Cabernet side are two of those vineyards. They're very different. They're both very, very high quality. And they make wines that are truly expressive of the site, and that's why we select those two vineyards. So which one's which, Andrew?
So it's Stice and then Atlas.
17 Stice?
Yep, 17 Stice and 17 Atlas.
You're doing it the inverse of us.
Okay.
So basically, we're on the opposite side. We're on the Australian side of the world. We're just the other way around.
I've converted.
Atlas.
So Stice Lane's on the valley floor, on the south side of St. Helena, which is actually the warmest part of the Napa Valley. I think Calistoga is, but you actually get higher growing degree days or higher heat summation on the south side of St. Helena.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah, Kathy Corrison taught me that.
Great
and
little
we have the data to
factoid.
back it up.
Yeah.
But this is a selection of a handful of barrels from one of the oldest blocks there. It's entirely barrel fermented. It's a wine with classic Napa Valley Cabernet qualities to it. So you have that pure cassis. It has a little bit of spice. It has a little bit of barrel character to it, but it's all in balance, and it's my favorite wine.
For me, it's all about like freshness, elegance, and purity. It has that brightness to the fruit. Like really, it just lingers on the palate. It has almost like a liqueur, like pure
cassis,
intensity to it, and it's delicious.
Soft, plush, rich.
Yeah, and the
juicy fruit.
tannins are really in
Richness,
balance, and so it's really drinking well young.
Yeah, Kerner fell in love with this vineyard and purchased it in the early 2000s. But this wine from this vineyard used to go into BV. We purchased the vineyard from BV, and this particular block of fruit used to go into their very high-end Georges Latour Cabernet. So we're really lucky to have it. It makes some absolutely fantastic world-class wines. I mean, if I had to pick a Cabernet in our portfolio, this is it for me. It's amazing.
So we first got fruit off it in 2004, and I remember the first time Kerner tried it, he's like, we're buying it. And that was the end of the story. It wasn't a question of how much. He was like, we're buying that vineyard.
He absolutely fell in love with it. So we're really fortunate to have it in our portfolio. And again, these wines are so limited in production. It's something to be, something to get in your cellar, get in your cellar, and has a great place on your table. So,
Michael, how about the Atlas Peak?
Well, the Atlas Peak is just a couple of feet higher than the Stice. So the Stice is circa 20 feet above sea level, but the Atlas Peak,
45.
as the name would infer, is obviously about 1,600 feet. And we're head and shoulders ahead of one of the most famous vineyards, which is the Stagecoach Vineyard. Obviously a recent acquisition by a rather substantial company, and we have the privilege of overlooking that vineyard. And we tend to produce, as you can imagine, a peak would infer pretty shallow soils. So the vineyard is quite challenging. It produces wines that are like a young stallion, really deep and really focused and with a lot of structure and intensity.
Huge amount of structure.
So when it comes to cap management and worrying about winemaking techniques, you have to be really careful on this. And so this wine is something I really enjoy. I particularly like the structure and the tannin in the wine. It couples really well with some French oak, and being quite careful throughout their fermentation process. It rewards you through many years of cellaring.
We just had a question come in from a customer, and they're saying, how long would a LNBC age? Well, we're drinking an 11 tonight, and I'd say it's only just starting to hit its peak. It could easily go 20 years. The Stice and Atlas, they're pretty similar in terms of their depth and weight, and they could easily, I've had ones that had an 04 Stice recently, so that's 18 years, and it was still holding up great. They're wines that are built to last. They taste great when they're young, but if you can be patient and you have a cellar and you have the right place to put it, they can easily go 20 years.
Yeah, I would say buy a 6-pack, but you can't, so you've got to buy 2.
Yeah.
And drink one now and one later.
Maybe we're going to circle back to what Cheryl was inferring. It's like she likes fruit, but if you like fruit, you probably don't want to age it 20 years, right? Because you're going to lose all those primary fruit characteristics. So it really depends what you want out of your wine.
So we've got these available tonight. What's the deal, Cheryl?
The deal is they're on allocation now. So, but there's ways that you can get your hands on them, which I would love to share with you. So these 3 wines are on allocation. We're going to flash up a QR code. So get your phones out if you want to scan that QR code. That is going to lead you to our Joy of Cabernet landing page on our website, where you can fill out a little form to join the allocation, which will in turn launch an immediate email to you, which gives you access to pre-purchase these. So if you'd like to pre-purchase them, there is no limit right now. Once they go on allocation in March, they will be limited in quantity. So there's an incentive to get your hands on these now. You can buy cases of them if you'd like to. You also will have access to our Cabernet and Cigar Party, which is the first time we're ever doing this, and it's really in honor of these beautiful Cabernets. We're putting together an amazing event, one at each location, so one in the Sierra Foothills and one in the Napa Valley, and that'll be late February, early March. So those of you that purchase them on a pre-release will have access to that Cabernet party. So don't miss out on that. It's going to be amazing. And if you have questions, we have an amazing team, which is full of answers. So call us. We're happy to place orders for you over the phone. But the other way is if you go to our shop, there is a Joy of Cabernet kind of subtitle. You can click on that, and that will also take you to the Join the Allocation form, which will again launch the information for the pre-release. So hopefully that all makes sense, but you don't want to miss out on those.
Scan the QR code.
Scan the QR code.
Well, we have
right.
Yeah.
We have. So you want to talk about the wine?
No, I was just going to say I'm just loving how powerful this wine is right now.
Yeah,
it's
17s
asking
are
for a
amazing.
steak.
Yeah, 17 is a vintage.
Asking for a friend.
17 as a vintage was a very powerful vintage. So
Let's talk to people a little bit just briefly about if they had both of these wines in their glass, and from a consumer standpoint, what are they going to be tasting that's uniquely different between the two? One is Valley Floor, Stice Lane, my favorite.
Yep.
The other is Higher Elevation, Atlas Peak.
My favorite.
Michael's favorite. But just quickly tell us, in layman's terms, guys,
Layman's terms?
what they would be tasting that's uniquely different.
So the Stice Lane is your classic Napa Cab, right? So it's going to be pure cassis with moderately structured tannins and a little bit of spice. So it's, it's a very approachable, classically structured Cabernet. Atlas Peak is more powerful, that has more tannin. The fruit's more red, whereas Stice has more of a black fruit. And it's just a much more powerful wine with more of it. Atlas has a really unique Christmas spice character to it, which comes out as the wine ages, and that's the main difference between the
Christmas spice. Holiday season.
Holidays.
Get it, makes sense.
Yeah, there you go.
I always think of it as elegance and powerful.
Yeah.
Like it's this purity and liqueur and flowing over the palate, plushness and velvet, and then Atlas just takes your palate and shakes it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I love that. No, that's great. That's a great analogy, Andrew. I love that.
If you do over-extract tannins, it becomes too overbearing, but there's enough fruit intensity to really.
And Andrew's a big guy, so it takes a lot to shake him.
Thank you. I think that's great.
When we talk about the two single vineyards, we kind of briefly glazed over the LMDC, but in terms of the three lineups which Cheryl's touching on, so you've got two single vineyards and then the Le Merdeche. How do we see the third one come into play? So what are you going to see differently?
So it's the wine that has the most depth and structure. So it's a selection of barrels. It has some Stice in it. It has some Atlas in it. It has one or two other vineyards.
And a couple other varietals.
Sometimes a little bit of Petit Verdot, sometimes a little bit of Cab Franc, but it really is a selection of the best barrels from the best lots. So sometimes there's a little bit more Stice, sometimes there's a little bit more Atlas, but it's all about making a wine that has the most depth and concentration and ability to age. And that's the main difference. It's a bigger, stronger, fuller, more powerful, elegant wine.
And when we talk about limited in production, we really mean limited. Like we literally made 250 cases of these wines. So they're literally very, very small productions, and they're very special. So.
You typically don't see the LMDC on the website, right?
No, because it's usually sold out all the time. So, so yeah, a lot of people don't know we make it. They're curious about it. They want to know what is this mysterious Le Merdeche. And so we're excited about our allocation program. We encourage you to get on the list, and we're hoping to spread this 250 case production out to more people. So that's the goal of this, is to share it with more people and really showcase these beautiful Cabernets.
So to clarify, these three are on 2-bottle allocation or 2-bottle limit, but those three
are on allocation, and they're not on a limit right now. They will be limited come March. So as soon as the allocation launches, so you can pre-release purchase them now at no limit, which I highly recommend you do. And then in March, we're going to start doling them out, so to speak, and limiting the quantity of purchase to our list. So buy them now.
How do you think these would go with cigars?
Really well, yes. In fact, I don't want to divulge all the secrets of our cigar party, but it's something that is not to be missed, yes.
Michael, there's going to be cigars there, and there's going to be Cabernet.
Really, they pair tobacco with Cabernet. I don't know, there's a thing. So.
Well, we have one more wine to talk about. We've waffled on enough. Yeah. And it's a wine which is very special to me, but it requires very specific climatic conditions to be able to make. So I'm going to let Andrew go into a little more detail on that.
No one's heard enough of Andrew today.
No, never. Let me see it just so I can really remember what it is. So it's Joy, and so this is our late harvest dessert Botrytis Chardonnay. So it actually comes from the same vineyard as Gratitude, our Buckley Station vineyard, and also our Buckley Station single vineyard Chardonnay. But just for example, I've been here for 12 years and we've only made it, this is the third time we've made it in my 12 years. So not only does it need the right conditions, the right, you can't have it warm in the late season, it has to have the right moisture content, and Botrytis really needs to take over in the grapes, as you can see there. So they don't look as, say, appetizing as normal grapes, but from what we're seeing and what that does to the grapes, it concentrates the flavors, it brings the acidity higher. And
Perfect botrytis cluster.
I mean, it's
right
great.
I like
And-
to say that is a site only a winemaker would love.
there. To make a specific type of wine.
No, cheese connoisseur would love that too.
It's exactly what it looked like for everything this year. And so not only did we get wrong one.
It's all right, man. You'll get cooties
I
later.
know. But you get incredible concentration. So when you bring that in, we press the grapes. So normally we press Chardonnay for about an hour and 45 minutes. We press this for about 8 hours. Because the liquid is so viscous and honey-like, it takes a long time to extract that from the grapes. But when it comes out, it's almost like a nectar. It's a nectar. It's like honeyed, apricot.
Look at that hand.
Yeah, hazelnuts, roasted almonds. I mean, it has this incredible just
Look,
aromatic
Andy's gone
complexity.
MIA. He's just
Yeah,
gone.
look.
He just left it.
As he does. But a really neat thing is when we go to barrel it down, it goes into freshly toasted that same day barrels. So the barrels come to the winery hot. Or warm still, they're not hot.
That's amazing.
But so the liquid goes in, and that interaction with warm oak really creates that intensity of that roasted nut. There's almost like a baked bread aroma as well that you see, and that oak impact on the wine. And so it goes in for about 8 months. It only ends about 8 to 12% alcohol, a couple hundred grams of residual sugar. So you're not drinking a whole bottle. You're having 2 to 3 ounces. And I mean, it's an incredible wine to have, at the end of a meal with cheese, or say, I like panna cotta. Or start of a meal. Yeah,
With
start of a
foie
meal. I mean, but the acidity carries the wine with the intensity of flavor.
And something I think is really special about this wine is that we don't make it every year. We only make it when Mother Nature allows us to make it. So it's very much farming, right? We're very much at the mercy of Mother Nature. So we made it in 2015. We were able to make it in 2018, and we haven't made it again until this year in 2021. So
We got very lucky
we're
this
very
year.
lucky to have it. We've been cheering on the weather and the winemaking team, and so we're excited that we were able to make it again.
I wish I could say it was the winemaking team, but we had nothing to do with it. It was
Well done, Patrick, for writing that line.
So this is another very special wine. This was Joan Rombauer's favorite wine. She absolutely loved dessert wine and bubbles. Those were her things. So I always think of her when I have joy in my glass, and it's very special. It's also obviously limited in production depending on the vintage. So sometimes we make a few hundred cases, and sometimes we don't.
Andrew, it's another very age-worthy wine, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So and just to say, this only went to barrel 2021 this week. So think about that. We started harvest in the middle of August, and now we're just finishing harvest, basically.
Yeah.
But this wine, I mean, when it's young.
It was actually our latest harvest for Joy ever.
Yeah, I mean, with December. Was it even? Was it?
It was
right
December.
It was December 2nd or something.
Unless you're
3rd.
unless you're a dessert club member, we've literally been out of stock of this wine for 10 months. But we do have it available tonight on a 2-bottle limit. So again, that I don't know if you want to zoom in on that trio, but those three items right there on a 2-bottle limit tonight make a beautiful 6-pack for the holidays. So only five cases or so of each of those are hanging out. So
And I've got an old one of them.
Yeah, so as
it's
Bob
turned
said,
really brown.
yeah.
Is that all
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. As it oxidizes, this wine, with the intensity of it and the acidity in the wine, it'll age for decades. I mean, it'll outlive
We had
me.
we had a 97 at my house earlier in the year, and it was a deep mahogany color because the sugars had all oxidized and turned brown. But that 97 was fresh as a
It
daisy.
looks like chocolate. It looks like chocolate brown in the bottle when
Yep.
it
It
ages.
does, but
It's
then when you
crazy.
smell it, the intensity and like the freshness on the palate.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat it.
Such a
You're looking
unique
at,
product.
4 or 5 decades, easy.
Yeah.
That 2018 as well was the highest concentration we've ever seen. So it had the highest bricks we've ever made of any wine at Rombauer. It was 50 bricks.
So you can tell there's a lot of passion around this wine. It's obviously a staff favorite, and it may seem a little strange to talk so much about a wine that there isn't very much of. But on the other hand, you'd be disappointed if we didn't tell you about some of the very special things we do here, and we do want to just alert you to their availability and to call your attention to it. We hope you'll come and visit the winery and get to know more about some of these other special wines that we make, and appreciate everything that you do to support us out in the marketplace. But with that,
Yeah, I don't know where I am now either.
I think we're wrapping up with you, Bob.
are we?
Well,
Okay.
I think so.
Well, as we wrap up this evening's session, I want to take just a moment to look back on a couple of other special moments in 2021. And I think first and foremost, it was just wonderful to be able to actually open our tasting rooms again and to be able to welcome you back to both the Napa Valley and to the Sierra Nevada foothills. Cheryl?
Absolutely. Yes, we are so excited to be able to get back into our events and visiting with everyone in person. Virtual was fun for a minute, but we're ready to but we're ready to socialize in person. So
no more Zoom.
We kind of kicked off that in-person event with our harvest celebration out in the Sierra foothills in October, which was so much fun. It was just a reminder of how much fun it is to be with everyone and sharing the joy of wine. We have a full calendar coming up for 2022, so looking forward to getting out into the market across the nation, coming to your neighborhood. I hope to see some of you in person in your own neighborhoods. So keep your eye out for our events calendar. We're going to be emailing that to those of you that are on our email list, but also it's going to be available on our website, so keep checking our events page on our website. We'll be updating that frequently. And you know, Rombauer Hours are really fun, right? And we've been doing them as a group live, but don't be afraid to host your own Rombauer Hours, guys. You can have your own Rombauer Hour at home. Invite your friends, your family. Really fun. We're kind of kicking that idea off across the nation too. So Rombauer Hours are a thing to stay.
We can come on and help you online.
That's right.
We can do it. We can Zoom right in with you.
We are doing virtual tastings. If you would like us to join you virtually at your Rombauer Hour that you're hosting at your home, we would be happy to do that.
Well, I'm particularly grateful this year for a smooth harvest, and I can say that on behalf of the winemaking team. Yeah. 2021 was a great harvest. No natural disasters. It was very, very smooth. We had incredibly high quality, and I'm particularly excited about the quality of the wines that we've got coming out. So we'll start bottling 2021 SB in January. It's bloody good.
Oh yeah,
kind of excited.
Blanc fans.
So we are all looking forward to that. We're grateful for all of you who have tuned in to each of our sessions this year. Thank you for that, and we've enjoyed our online chats throughout those sessions. Just to let you know that for 2022, we're going to pare down the schedule just a little bit. Instead of doing this monthly, we'll do it on a quarterly basis. And the first edition of Rombauer Hour in 2022 will be on February 17th. So we hope you'll join us then. Until then, we wish you Merry Christmas and wonderful holidays with family and friends. Richie?
Yeah, I just want to say, well, you know, this has been going on now. I don't know how many of these shows we've done. Some were weekly back at the start with a laptop, and they've really grown into something that's really big. But there's a few people that make it all happen. There's our first setup. There's my laptop and a microphone. We had a tape measure to make sure me and Andrew were 6 feet apart.
Was that microphone? It's like 1980s.
We had our standard roll of toilet paper, which was in short supply back then, so it was an interesting time. But it's really grown to something quite big, and it takes a lot of people behind the scenes to make it happen, a lot of planning. So I want to get Heather McCarthy on camera, who's our director of marketing at Rombauer Vineyards, and Heather has been.
She needs a glass of gratitude, doesn't she?
She does need a glass of gratitude. Heather's been on the person behind the scenes who's done all the producing. She has a very small team of Alex Benson, Alex Evans, and Jesse Christ, who do a lot of hard work writing all the scripts, and then they work with David Ortega from Chrome Visuals.
Come on out.
Just over here. Come on, David, get on camera. And the Aperture Media Group, and they've really taken these to the next level for us, and it's been really amazing. So I want to thank you all. We've had huge support for this, for joining in, and I want you to have a really awesome Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I just want to say cheers, and we'll see you in February.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.